Happy Friday, everyone, and it's time for a new video. Welcome if you're new. If you are new, oh man, what a tongue twister. Hold on, I gotta wash that one down. I'm not gonna edit that thing out. Let's go ahead and rock and roll with it. Welcome if you are new, if you enjoy my content and me keeping it very real because I'm a real person on this channel, let alone in life as well. I'm a small fish in a big pond, very much retail trader, retail investor, and wow, it is very much a bloody Friday for anyone out there across the board. So in today's video, I want to talk about Robinhood. Robinhood is getting hit very hard here. And there's a big reality for Robinhood shareholders, including myself. I own Robinhood on 2 profiles, and I actually bought some Robinhood shares today. I'm going to be going over when is the next time I'm going to be buying Robinhood more shares, and also when I may go all in the sense of increasing my positions drastically. Pretty much increasing my Robinhood position by 15, maybe 20%. Because is there going to be a bottom anytime soon on Robinhood? We'll get to that momentarily. I also want to talk about pretty much the major indexes. We have broken through a very key pivotal level of support. And this is what could be something very bad. It could just be a very downward market that we are in. It very well could be the bottom or a lot more pain coming. I'm going to be talking about that. And lastly, I kind of really want to talk a little bit about SoFi because I got a bunch of saved rounds about pretty much SoFi here. I'm a raging SoFi bull. Like I said, if you are new, welcome. This YouTube channel is not supposed to be just SoFi. If you go on my YouTube channel here and actually look at my banners, where is my YouTube channel? Hold on. Hold on one second. I got to go to my YouTube channel right here. I did make my YouTube channel banner, very much, SoFi, AMD, and Hood, because those are 3 of my positions that I am very bullish on. Oh yes, indeedy, extremely bullish on. Although I may actually add another one up there on my channel banner. Not entirely sure if I want to just yet, but there might be another stock to really add that I'm going to be very, very, very bullish. And for those of you that have been following me here on this channel for quite some time, you can probably already guess what that new one on the banner might be. Not to mention it is on the screen in the upper right-hand corner here under my long positions, right? Adobe. Okay, I'll just go ahead and say it, right? Very bullish on Adobe. Very bullish on software stocks. So, firstly, Robinhood. What the effer? Try and keep this channel as, I don't want to say kids-friendly, but let's go ahead and say PG-13. Actually, PG-13, you're allowed to say fuck at least once. So, there it is, right? What the effer? So, Robinhood has experienced a very, very it's the Robinhood stock right now is the equivalent of the United States in geopolitical stuff. Okay, picture Robinhood as the United States of America. Picture Bitcoin as geopolitical stuff. Nonsense stuff going on in the world. It could be Ukraine and Russia. It could be Iran. It could be oil. It could be China. It could be tariffs, right? When Bitcoin is very much going up, Robinhood's business model is going to drastically benefit because they have built a pretty much empire around crypto. Now, is it fully around crypto, kind of like Coinbase in a way? No. And if we go ahead and look at Coinbase here, I was actually thinking about buying Coinbase, and I'm actually really glad I did not. I was actually thinking about buying Coinbase right around here back in January at $250. Oh boy. Ended up going all the way down to $140. So if we go ahead and look at Coinbase, from pretty much all-time highs Where's my price ranger? So we go ahead and look at Coinbase. Yep. All-time highs, which it's pretty shocking how all-time highs basically was April of 21, and it took literally years to get back to all-time high. Ooh, imagine if you bought on IPO. That would be a major weenie for you. So right now, Coinbase has literally been hit by 56% on the downward side. Ended up going as low as 68%, which, I mean, hey, it's not a surprise. Coinbase is fully around crypto. Now, if we go over to Robinhood, and we go ahead and look at all-time highs here, I think I actually have one already pulled up here. We look at all-time highs. Actually, this is the wrong price action. Where are we? All-time highs. Come on, man. Robinhood is really no different. Any stock right now that is very much has a business model around a risk-on environment or entity or asset, I should say, right? Obviously, Bitcoin, the crypto market is very much not exciting a lot of people. And the Bitcoin cycle that so many people are saying that Bitcoin, along with crypto, is really not supposed to bottom until like later this year. And Bitcoin theoretically is supposed to go all the way down to like below 40,000, as low as some people are saying, like in the 30,000s. That is crazy. Now, what do I really make about like crypto? I don't really dabble in crypto too much. Although, if crypto continues to get beaten and crypto actually does fulfill a self-fulfilling prophecy, give or take, right, of going down to 30,000, which means Ethereum could very well be maybe back to like $1,000, which is a little wonky to think about. Maybe I might shed some exposure on maybe some crypto coins. But right now, I'd very much rather get into a stock like I've been in a stock. Definitely like Robinhood. And I mean, if you are a Coinbase shareholder too, right now, Robinhood, Coinbase, they're feeling the heat. I am definitely feeling the heat. On my YouTube channel public profile here, my Robinhood position is down by, what are we down? 25%. I actually have a little bit better of an average on my private account, but still, I'm down regardless. And if this is going to continue throughout this year, you're going to see Hood just continue to trend further down. And right now, there's a lot of just bearish sentiment around Hood. Q4 earnings roundup, basically pretty much some big talk about how, hey, a lot of people thought that Bitcoin wasn't going to be influencing their business model as much as it did. And now all those people are really saying like, hey, if this continues throughout the year, we could very well see Robinhood below $60, maybe even going back to $50. That would be an utter steal of a deal at that point, in my personal opinion. Not a financial advisor, but I'm definitely going to be publishing what I'm doing for education purposes. And I definitely want people to really say, hey, you know, you're friggin' crazy for buying Hood at low 70s, in the 60s. It's not worth anything. You're crazy for maybe buying Hood in the 50s. It's going down to the 40s. Really? Really? My main stock profile is on Robinhood. All my friends that are in the market, they have Robinhood brokerage apps. The vast majority of you all, let alone the vast majority of retail, is on Robinhood apps. Robinhood said that they're going to bring back pretty much like trading how it used to be, like pretty much compete with Webull. Have 24-hour essentially trading, give or take, which is going to be very huge. And you also have a CEO that is very young. The guy is an innovator, and he reminds me of Mark Zuckerberg. He reminds me of the type of person. No, I did not buy Meta in 2022. I wish I did. But Meta is another one to really talk about because Meta's going through some pain. I have been in and out of Meta over the years, though. Definitely right now I'm back in Meta. Feeling some pain here. Obviously, Meta is just in a downward pressure cycle. But overall, I really do like the management team of Hood. And I've been saying this for the last couple months as I've been buying the friggin' stock. I was buying Hood all the way, starting to buy Hood back during November. I started accumulating some Hood shares. Yeah, I got some Hood shares. I believe my first buy was around 140. Whatever. Hey, sure. And then I bought this entire way down to the V. My average is actually, I believe, like 95. I got to update this. And then I also bought some Hood shares on the way up. Then I stopped. And then I waited. And then as the stock went all the way down, I was buying all throughout January. And I've been buying over the last couple months now. And if Hood is going to go all the way down to Chinatown, even more, if they go down even to $50, going to be buying more. And then as they make a recovery, which they will, oh yes, they will, I'm going to be continuing buying. Because you buy all the way down, you buy all the way up. And eventually, Hood, it's going to be $200. And myself, along with a lot of people, we're going to be making a lot of money on this stock. So I'm very bullish. Why also am I bullish? Is because they are a risk-on company. Kind of like a casino. Kind of like DraftKings. Kind of like, in theory, it's just literally what I said. A risk-on company. When the market is risk-on, the stock is going to perform. Water cheers. When the stock is going through a downward cycle, like it is right now, the stock is going to be hit. And this is where disciplined people, disciplined traders, and disciplined investors need to emerge. Now, I am a trader, but these stocks here, I'm not necessarily trading. I've stated many times I'm very long on SoFi, very long on AMD, Adobe, Hood. Palantir really got to see about growth rates in the future. Meta really freaked me out a little bit with their CapEx spending, and it also irritated a lot of people too. Adobe, very long. PayPal, hey, if they do recover based on a buyout, I'm just going to, walk away, take whatever it goes to, walk away from that. Different story. But this YouTube channel is very much set up as a very, very long, very traditional style channel per se, right? I am a very raging bull overall as the stock market. But at the same time, I'm also a realist, not necessarily an idealist per se. The stocks that I'm very much long on, they all have great management teams. Obviously, PayPal kind of booted their management team with their CEO, but we'll see what happens. And Adobe CEO has definitely been, saying, hey, I'm going to pretty much retire now after, I believe, 18 years, but still. Okay, so once again, as for Robinhood, me personally, I'm going to be continuing to buy this thing, and about a week ago, this stock was what, $85 beginning of March, a couple weeks ago, and now we're very much trending down. So if you are trading stocks, like if you are trading these stocks, because there are people that are trading SoFi, Hood, etc., etc., just understand that my bull statement for this channel and overall is very much rounded around investing, not necessarily short-term trading. I don't really think that SoFi really is a short-term trade. I see the outlook on the company, and I see a lot more gains long-term. Same thing with Robinhood, too, along with AMD and also Adobe as well. But there are some people, traders, that are very much probably buying this dip and very just much waiting for it to go up maybe 10, 20%. And maybe that's, a little bit of volatility in the stock market overall. But oil is definitely getting close to $100 per barrel. And obviously the VIX is just very much maintaining above $20. Where if the VIX is above $20 here, you gotta be nibbling on discounts. And I do understand that it is utterly scary to really see the news, see the fear, see everything, but this is when it really shows discipline. And this is when people make life-changing money. Because nobody wants to be buying stocks right now. And the VIX, the volatility index, it's showing that. Nobody wants to buy stocks. Everyone wants to be selling stocks, right? The higher the VIX goes, the more stocks go down because of selling pressure. And it's utterly remarkable. So as for the SPY, we broke through a very key pivotal point. And I talked about this yesterday. Okay? I started making videos on this public profile that I'm doing on this channel around October, November of last year, several months ago. Actually, almost friggin' 6 months ago, believe it or not. I honestly thought that this market was going to really soar after earnings. Well, I guess I am a little bit right, because maybe it's going to be after this coming new earnings. The market right now is broken through a key support beam that we ended up hitting back in November 20th of the government shutdown, and then we recovered, and then also going back to 10 October, which was very bearish about Bitcoin going through some issues. I believe Japan was very much involved in that. I can't remember what happened, but a lot of Bitcoin liquidity pretty much got zapped out of the market. And it also freaked out a lot of people. Actually, that's what started the downward cycle in Bitcoin. It was actually around October. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up Bitcoin here. Yeah, it was actually around friggin' October. Everything started really falling off. Yeah, it was literally October here. So the SPY has broken down, and we are going to be moving very soon into oversold territory. The SPY on the relative strength index is 30. You can argue that right now it is very much oversold, getting close. Relative strength index is averages pretty much of certain amount of days. I believe it's 2 weeks. Could be wrong. Anything below 30 is oversold. Anything above 70 is overbought. So the SPY being below the 200-day moving average here, we very well could see more pain. Obviously, for Liberation Day last year, ironically, right around this time period, we very much moved down. And we did not bottom up until the first week of April when people were screaming like crazy, baby! Woohoo! What was this guy doing during Liberation Day last year? I went all in on the market. What does that mean? I exhausted all my capital. Savings, checking, everything, all in. All my money in my brokerage accounts, all in. Over $100,000 of hard cash. Do not trade on margin. Believe it's bad JoJo. Hard cash. Stocks. Made out like a friggin' bandit. I did take trades on that one, though, because I was very much underinvested in the market. Because during the summertime of 2024, I went all in on stocks. And then after the election, I started selling. When the stock market was busting to all-time highs, November, December, January, I was selling. And I had a very large abundance of cash February and March, and I went all in. And then I ended up selling out of a lot of positions starting around end of June, July. Should have held a little bit longer. I had positions like Nvidia below $100, Palantir on 2 different accounts below $100, AMD shares below $100, which I still own on my private account. Woohoo! Oh yeah, very happy for those. But I made out like a bandit. So if the market experiences 2025 2.0, where we do something like this, and we go all the way down to 600, and we theoretically go into a crash, you will see me on this channel just that is the signal. You're talking about 11% down from major highs on the SPY. That is a correction. That is a correction. It's not a crash, it's a correction. Liberation Day, that was a crash. Okay? Back before Thanksgiving, that was definitely a mini correction that we had. Very mini correction. Correction typically is around 10% in the market. The Qs, obviously, from all-time highs here, we pretty much have, we could honestly go back down to maybe around 550-ish. 12%, that would be a correction. IWM, all-time highs. All-time highs at the 200-day. That's 11%. That is a correction theoretically on the Russell 2000. We go back down to the next level support, 15%. That is a major correction on the small caps. So at that point, for me, it's definitely going to be a very much loading the boats. If that does not happen, I have my positions built. Lastly, to wrap up this video, I want to talk about SoFi a little bit. There is still a tremendous amount of bearishness around this stock. I cannot express to people. People are willing to start a position on SoFi in the low 30s and the high 20s, but they're not willing to buy right now. I have over 2,000 shares of SoFi, and I am still adding bonus shares right now. This stock, as long as the management team continues to execute, and they don't change course over the next many years and decade, which I do believe Anthony Noto is going to be part of the management team long term. He's also talked about it, that he really wants SoFi to be his friggin' legacy. I could very well someday, maybe this sounds too bullish. Maybe someday I could be looking at a 7-figure long-term position to SoFi. How crazy would that be? How crazy would that be? But then again, look at companies. Look at Amazon. How many percent over the last, decade? 20 years? Look at Nvidia. Look at so many other companies. Tesla. Nobody wants SoFi right now. And honestly, we're probably going to be seeing $15 very soon on SoFi. I know that hurts to say, but you got to be a realist. And this is why you have to remember why you got into these stocks. So on a super closing note, water cheers. I'll see you all tomorrow. My philosophy in life, if you are a long-term shareholder of any stock, any great company, you buy the fear, you buy the blood, you pick up discounted shares for the future. If you are a trader, you buy the fear, you buy the blood, you sell the rip. It's a very simple ideology. That ideology has made me life-changing money. So I'll see you all tomorrow. For those of you that want to see more content from me, please, once again, like this video if you find value, and I'll see you later. Bye.